On the mat host tonight, Barry Holland, along with pro wrestling personality and expert, Steve Rickard. Good evening, everybody, and welcome from the centre of wrestling in the South Pacific, Auckland, New Zealand. Once again tonight from the YMCA Stadium here in Auckland, New Zealand. And yes, indeed, Steve Rickard is with me tonight. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Barry.
Well, we're into a new season, Steve. We've already had our first program here. I'm sorry to hear about the problems you had last week with transport, but you're here with us tonight. And my first thought, Steve, when I came along just last week was, I've never seen so many wrestlers, so many great wrestlers in the country at any one time.
Well, the one thing that is going to happen in this country this year, Barry, there will not be so many matches held in New Zealand, but what the New Zealand Pro Wrestling Association intends to do is bring in a lot of wrestlers at one time. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot of big names, and that's what we've seen here in this last week. And, of course, in the future, throughout the season, there's going to be a very great variety of overseas talent. And I say again, it's going to be big talent.
So don't wait around, folks, to see them in action. They probably won't be here very long, but there'll be many of them coming. Well, there's some of the crowd that's awaiting the action tonight here at the YMCA Stadium in Auckland. Of course, the real thank you, folks, the real champion coming out, of course, is Ric Flair. In fact, he is here in New Zealand, and boy, what a champion. What I've seen of him so far.
Well, I think I said before he came into the country, Barry, to our television audiences, that we were going to see one of the greatest champions of all time, and we've already seen that in the matches he's had throughout New Zealand. He is a great champion, and of course he's, as everyone knows, he's a real jet setter with it.
Right. Ric Flair, a man who enjoys all the attention and the fuss attached to being a world champion.
We get thousands of letters asking what really makes Ric Flair tick. And for all those thousands of fans out there that don't know, it's not just the fact that I'm the most finely conditioned athlete in all of wrestling. It's not just the fact that I'm a tremendously wealthy man, that I can have any woman I want. It's the fact that I live a lifestyle never, ever equaled by any other man. My man Sam right here. Check out this limousine. My own Learjet. And look what I travel with, the most beautiful women on the face of this earth. This is why the world's heavyweight champion, not Joe Montana, not Burt Reynolds, not turkeys like that, but a real man, the world's heavyweight champion. That's what makes me a little different. Come on up here, ladies. Let this camera get a little better look at you. Jan, darling, I didn't expect to see you for another week or two.
Champagne and caviar is ready whenever you are, Rick.
Well, thank you very much, darling. Laura, how have you been? You see, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, this is what makes Ric Flair tick. Woo! Setting the world on fire. Ladies, we better be off. We don't want to keep them waiting in that next city. Take care now. Remember one thing. Diamonds are forever.
Oh, indeed. Does that man have confidence? That'd be an understatement, wouldn't it? All right, well, let's get to tonight's action anyway. They're waiting in the ring right now, so let's go to ring announcer Max Cryer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a heavyweight tag match. In the blue corner, from Mongolia, it's Tsar and Gore the Mongolians. In the red corner, from American Samoa, Farmer Boy Ipo, and from the USA, Mr. Roy Starr. Your referee, Jack Kendall.
Well, we got introduced to the Mongols, Tsar and Gore, just last week. We know how powerful these men are. We'll be able to get a look at some of their techniques tonight, in fact, right now, and up against Farmer Boy Ipo and also Roy Starr.
Gore in the ring. Gore and Tsar, the world tag team champions. Fast moving Roy Starr, he takes it out, and there's another one as the Tsar goes down to an arm drag and outside the four rope.
Now, the way to tell these two apart, Tsar and Gore. Gore is the one that's got the little beard on. There's one that gives the picture moment. Gore's got the beard, Tsar has not got the beard.
Well, I think you can tell him apart. He's enough, although because Kurt, although a big man, Zar is 300 pounds. So you have Raw, the smaller of the two, and Zar 300 pounds, and incidentally a world powerlifting champion. Farmer Boy Ipo with a headlock applied.
Tell us a bit about Farmer Boy Ipo, Steve.
Well, Farmer Boy Ipo, he hails from Rick Samoa. He lives in the United States, which is his home, but his family were born in America Samoa, and Farmer Boy Ipo is now a resident of USA, where he's done most of his wrestling, apart from the odd match he's had out through the Pacific Islands. Well, I could elaborate on that. I also know that he has wrestled in the Far East, wrestled in Korea, and also Japan. Armbar applied, tags Roy Star. Last movie Roy Star, very popular indeed.
Well, Roy Starr certainly made a good impression last week up against Lars Anderson here.
Well, Lars Anderson, the opponent who wrestled Roy Star last week, also a top-line wrestler known throughout the world. Star takes over, throws Roy Star into corner. Tag score, Gore comes in. Gore pushing Roy Star back into the turnbuckle. Heavy the knee up. Star and Gore, two of the roughest wrestlers in tag wrestling today, world heavyweight tag team champions. Roy Star picking Gore up, slams him, Star comes in. Referee calls for a break as hurls Roy Star back into the turnbuckle.
Had a heavy one at the turnbuckle. Roy Star would have felt that.
6'5" and 300 pounds. Certainly a man. As I said earlier, well, there's Man Mountain Link outside the ring.
Have you been up against either of these Mongols, Steve?
No, I have not wrestled either of these wrestlers.
Well, that's a pleasure to watch that. Big boy, especially
Tag to the rope. The referee will not allow it. Right, he's coming back out. Must tag over the top rope. Roy Star, Japanese arm twist. Takes the Mongolian Tsar to the canvas. Gore comes in. The knee into the stomach. Big forearm into the back of Roy Star.
I believe that Gore might have a little nick over the eye there too, it looks like it's Steve.
Can't see the camera's not on the eye.
Yes, there to the right of the top right.
Taking a smack in the eye. Or above it anyway.
Yes.
Golden boy Roy Star, Oregon, USA. Side headlock applied. Man Mountain Link, 400 pounds. Man Mountain Link outside the corner, watching intently the way in which the Mongolians are wrestling.
Okay, he didn't make the tag over the top rope there.
Tag over the top rope. There's a clean tag. Farmer Boy Ipo. The big elbow down the back of the neck of Gore. Face lock applied.
Yes, and he's got Gore right in the center of the ring there, so no chance of Gore being able to tag Tsar and get the breakaway from Farmer Boy Ipo.
Farmer Boy Ipo with a very strong face lock applied. Gore on his knees. Referee Jack Kendall asks if he wants to give up.
Was giving up and giving it to Roy Star to continue the work on Gore.
Just ahead and Gore hits the canvas. Star comes in, pulls Roy Star away. And Mountain Link.
See that Star getting more nervous, just waiting to get into that ring and do something. He hasn't got the tag in, he might get a tag shortly. Yes, there it is now.
Double kick, and Star hits the canvas. Star with the legal tag from the stomp after stomp to the back of Roy Star.
Now, these boys are strong, Steve. Strong men. Pretty formidable force, especially when they're both together in a tag match like this.
Bear hug applied and Stark comes off the rope. Referee asking Roy Stark if he wants to give up. And he looks at him, he's nodding his head and he's given up. Referee stops and up goes the hand of Stark.
Well. Here we are. Referee asked Roy Starr if he wanted to give up. Roy Starr did submit. And so it looks like a win to Gore and Czar in our first match tonight, our tag match. So Gore and Czar, get that the right way around. Gore and Czar up against Roy Starr and Farmer Boy Ifo. Now, looks like Roy Starr still feeling a little bit there. They are the champions this time. Gore and Czar out of the ring. Well, we've got our first look at the Mongolians, and as I said before, a pretty formidable couple. But let's just see how that Roy Starr is getting on. He's up onto his feet now, so it looks as though he's okay. So a good win and a bear hug coming from Gore to win our tag match here tonight and the first up in on the match. We'll be back with more of the action right after this break. Welcome back to On the Mat, and that's pretty impressive stuff, isn't it, from our two Mongolians, Czar and Gore, and they'll be a mighty tag team to watch over the next few weeks in On the Mat. But now, before we go to our next bout, let's go to ringside, and Steve is with Mark Lewin.
Well, Mark, early in this tape we saw what a real jet setter that the world champion Ric Flair is. However, also in New Zealand we've seen what a great wrestling champion he is.
Well, that's true. The fellow really shows that he warranted the World Heavyweight Championship belt after beating Harley Race. But I do have a win, as you know, over Ric Flair.
Because that win was in a non-title match overseas, Mark, which I think a lot of the New Zealand people realise. I think really the one that was the big upset to you was the one that you actually had won, the match you had won when it was a title bout.
That's right.
Against Flair, and I don't think there's anyone in the world would deny that you had him beaten.
Well, you know, when you actually have your hand raised and you think you are the world champion, it's a heck of a feeling. So that any time in Auckland or Wellington or Hamilton or anywhere that I wrestle Flair now for the world title, I actually know the feeling of being the winner. So I don't know how much money he's demanded here. I really don't know his contract, but I do know that so many promoters, Mrs. Maivia is here, Vince McMahon, Jim Barnett, all the people that are big in the United States, they're here for a positive answer from whoever holds that title.
Well, the big upset was, at least what I should say is, after the big upset in the match where you defeated Ric Flair, that was one of the reasons why, in fact, demanded such a lot of money to come to this country to wrestle, and why the promoters are here, and as much as they expected a world title change. Anyways, what I'd like to do, Mark, is wish you all the very best.
All right, thank you very much, Steve, and thanks a lot to all my friends that helped me train to get ready for this big one. I've gone through the pain barrier, so good, Claire, let's see what you can take.
Right.
Thanks for me.
I hope you do.
Well, title fights are certainly something not to be missed, and this title fight will be no exception. Well, Mark Lewis now to continue his build-up, so let's go to center ring and ring it out to Max Crime.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the heavyweight bout. In the blue corner, from America, it's Lance Anderson. And in the red corner, the return to the ring of Mr. Mark Lewin. Your referee, Jack Kendall.
Well, Lars Anderson would have heard a lot, of course, about the reputation of Mark Lewin, and seen a lot of Mark Lewin, but certainly heard about how the crowds love him out here in New Zealand, but that will mean nothing to him now that he's in the ring up against him. Certainly a very competent fighter, nice presence in the ring, and a very strong and able fighter wrestler is our Lars Anderson. There's indeed a Swedish name, came from his grandparents, I believe, but now, of course, living in the United States of America.
Lars Anderson, one of the brothers of the three Anderson brothers, the famous wrestling brothers, all now wrestling in the United States.
They get together as a tag team, do they, Steve?
Well, certainly. Lars and his brother Ole are the most well-known ones as a tag team. And Mark Lewin, great shape. Man
He's
who
looking good.
coming up against Ric Flair for the world title belt. Incidentally, Barry, one of the biggest cards I think New Zealand will have seen will be in Hamilton this coming Friday. There's actually a world title match, Ric Flair and a world title match against myself, and also a world tag team championship on the same program, plus an international women's championship. That's got to be one of the greatest cards ever seen in New Zealand.
That is, yeah. Oh, what is it? What? So a title bout and a tag team title bout, and the two ladies up against each other.
Well, that's the
Well,
first
that's
for New
something.
Zealand, of course,
Yeah.
two world title matches in one night.
Well, that's Hamilton this Friday night.
Yes, it is.
How are you feeling? Ready for it?
Well, I am. I've been on, done a lot of heavy training. I've been overseas, you know, for 3 months with Mark Lewin, who's wrestling there now, and I've been training all the time. Oh, nice turnbuckle for there by Mark.
Well, I wish you all the best for it, along with all your fans, Steve, for the title fight this Friday night in Hamilton there.
Referee Jack Kendall not quite quick enough there, and Mark Lewin trying on top of him. Just ahead, Lars Anderson. And another one. Referee moving in, calling for a break.
Lars Anderson coming back, but now Mark Lewin showing that he certainly hasn't lost any of the old style and looking, I think he's looking fitter than when we last saw him here last year on the mat.
Yes, Mark's been really in hard training in the off-season, just knowing that the world title match coming up, but he and Steve Arthur and myself are selected. Naturally, all go into heavy training.
Some heavy and repetitive fist work is being spoken to by referee Kendall.
Side headlock by Mark Lewin.
I think Mark Lewin's trying to turn him around so that the referee's blind spot. Lars Anderson was trying to do something with the other hand behind Mark Lewin, but such is the lock that Lewin has him in at the moment, and you'll notice he had to bring that hand down once the referee saw it going up the back. I think he might be trying to pull Mark Lewin's hair. What there is in the back part.
And more leverage with the headlock. Anderson goes down.
I remember Lars Anderson last week getting that sort of headlock treatment from Roy Starr, so second week running for him. Maybe more to come.
Side headlock applied.
And you see he's really got him there. Inside has Mark Lewin. Really got him jammed in that headlock down the side and unable to do anything with the other hand. He's trying to get it up to Mark Lewin's head. Referee Jack Kendall is right on the ball, though.
Lewin on the ropes. Knee into the stomach. Lars Anderson throws Mark Lewin across the ring.
Oh, about
Here's the elbow in.
Oh, both feeling it there.
Mark Lewin moves in again.
Crowd giving their instructions as usual.
Knee lift. Anderson in the corner.
Once again, the headlock.
Side headlock again. Mark Lewin in control.
See there, Mark Lewin dragging him across the ring a little bit, but seems though Lars Anderson unable to do anything with this sort of side headlock hold from Mark Lewin. Referee Jack Kendall goes round the other side. Now he's out. He's out of it. Back comes Lewin. Hard shoulder to the neck. Back he goes to the side headlock once again. It's been very effective in this bout anyway. So Mark Lewin, very fit. Title bout coming up, certainly has to be. Back comes that hand to the side of the head, and out goes Lars Anderson. Not long to go in this match. Not long to go. Lars Anderson now looking at the crowd, but out comes Mark Lewin into the crowd, and he's thrown Lars Anderson into the crowd. And they scatter. The closer Mark Lewin gets to the crowd, the more they love it. Even though that at times that can be dangerous. Well, there's no doubt the crowd right behind him in that action. Their hero Mark Lewin has done it again. See him looking through the ropes. Now Jack Kendall holding his hands up, and it looks as though he has thrown his arms up in all sorts of amazement there, wondering what is happening. But let's have a look at that again, shall we? What happened at the end as Mark Lewin threw Lars Anderson outside the ring. Lars Anderson walking around, looking at the crowd, and then out comes Mark Lewin to have a go at him there, and then really puts the icing on the cake as far as the crowd is concerned. So it looks like a disqualification there in that one as they enter the match outside the ring. Well, that leaves that bout. Now, before we do leave you tonight, let's go to ringside, and Steve is with Mark Lewin and Man Mountain.
You say on it, well, Man Mountain link, 400 pounds, because that's where the Man Mountain comes from, is the fantastic size.
That's right. I'd like to make a challenge to this big, bad Mongol, Zora the Mongol. He thinks he's so big and bad. The big, bad mountain man is the one that's bad. I challenge him anytime, any place here in New Zealand for a match, and I will show everybody who the bad one is, because remember, you cannot move the mountain.
Well, I understand that you offer $1,000 to anyone that can pick you up and slam you.
$1,000 bucks, that's right.
That also goes to Tsar the Mongolian, the 300-pound Mongolian?
Anybody who thinks they can body slam the mountain can try.
Some challenge, Mark.
Well, you know, I can understand why he makes that challenge, because lifting heavy weights doesn't necessarily mean that you can pick a big man up, because you got a tremendous girth there. So if he's challenging him, I'd like to see that one myself. Ric Flair is the main thing on my mind.
Well, of course, I mentioned that before, and of course the big card was the Hamilton one on the Friday night, where I wrestled Flair myself, a world title match, and you and Farmer Boy Ipo actually in a tag championship match against the Mongols, the world tag team.
That's right. So actually, Ipo and I go against the Mongols, like you say, and you got the big one with Flair. So I just can't see anything but great turnout.
Thanks, Mark. And we'll know all about your $1,000 challenge, too.
Man cannot move mountains. No, so maybe he's right, but well, we can only guess as to which way those particular matches will go. Well, that's it from On the Mat for tonight. Plenty of action for you once again. Do be with us next week, won't you? On behalf of Steve, this is Barry Holland. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.